laid back tea man. I'm so glad that you're not so laid back now. It'll be great to meet you.
I'm here. I'm listening. I just wanted to, kind of throw some accountability back at Bruce. No offense. How much of that content do you ensure gets to the instructional designer and the course developer as far as that upfront analysis? Because that's where I see a lot of the disconnect is, we're asked to produce a course and be creative and figure out ways to teach these people, but we don't know who the hell the people are, what their problems are, what the systems are going wrong. It's just make them understand this is the number one performance objective. And it's like, no, there's so much more information we need. There's so much more we need to understand. There's things we need to put into an effective context to make people come along with our program. Some of these people, oh God, another compliance e-learning, or they're rolling their eyes, or there's, we can be their friend and their helper and their guide. And actually with Elizabeth's cute graphics and creative writing, and we can, yes, we can make it a wonderful journey for them that they actually enjoy instead of just complain about, in e-learning. So I'm just asking, and the last organization I consulted at did this. So I feel encouraged that they did share more of the business directives, but I also had to pull out about 60% of that. So 40% being more is not really more. And I would just encourage all learning managers and the account representatives work with these different teams and stuff to just share more information about why something needs to be done with the people that actually build it. Mm-hmm. So that was my thought.
And that's okay. That is the siren song of instructional designers everywhere, right? And I hear this from one end of the country to the other end of the country. And it's a really good point, because sometimes the instructional designer within an organization, or even if you're a contractor, it's just the receiver of the order, right? So if you think about it as a catering group, for example, an order comes in from a customer to the salesperson hands it over to whoever's cooking it, right? And then that cook does it. So then but there's so much more granularity that could be happening, more support that could be happening if we bring everyone into the conversation much earlier in the process. And so I sense that that's a frustration. So Laura?
No, I think you're absolutely right there. And I love the fact, I bet, that you actually said that, because what I've been observing is that it can't be one person in the team that has a business first perspective, the business partner or the leader of the team. All of us need to have a business first perspective. So I bet you're asking the question, you're having to draw out the 60%, just by asking that question. But for me, what I get excited about is that sometimes it's frustrating when you're the only one who's got this, whatever role you're playing in that learning and development team, if you're the only one you feel who is asking these questions. It can be so frustrating. But if you then happen to meet up with a client, or you get a new boss who also has got it, then that suddenly that kind of power of your thinking is amplified, and it's kind of the more that a team gets it, the more value you can add back out into the business. The more that the business gets it, the more two-way communication you're going to get. But it's going to need to, starting with a business first perspective, needs to start somewhere. And wherever you're at in the organization, live that value, keep asking those questions, keep dragging out, don't get frustrated, just keep being curious. If you still have to deliver an order, deliver it, ask the questions, but deliver it, and then just build some sneaky stuff in there, that you can kind of come back to and say, I know you didn't ask for it, but for me, driving business value isn't just about proving our business value at the end. It's living it and and believing it and allowing it to drive our curiosity and drive our relationships with our team. And, lay back the way that you've just described it, drive the way that information flows throughout that team. Bruce, you talking about becoming value creators rather than order takers. And I spent a lot of time post my research work spending about a year or so working with Charles Jennings in the 70-20-10 Institute as well. But I get a sense that we get frustrated. We're stuck as order takers because we feel like we're victims because nobody gets us. And yet I've seen during the COVID period that those people who are continually asking the question, going out, finding new ways, just different ways to talk about value, different ways to explore value, are less victim. I need to prove myself. I'm more curious. Or I wonder how I can work in this new environment. So I do see, and I'm just going to throw this out here and just see how people react to this, but I do see that those that are working traditionally in the business value end, like we've been describing, seem to have more of a growth mindset when it comes down to looking at the metrics, because they're not, if you're operating from the business value in the way you've all described, it's not there just to prove yourself, just to prove that you need a job. When we get the metrics back, even when they're low and they're poor, we embrace it because it's like, oh, this is something I can learn from. This is something I can dig into. This is something I'm not giving up on my ultimate goal. So we're not frightened of metrics when we're working at the business value end. We love all metrics. We don't have to prove ourselves. But when we're working at the learning value end and we feel as though we're knocking our heads against a brick wall, then we tend to get into this sense of, I need to prove my worth. And the frustration builds. And then the opportunity to experiment gets crushed and our curiosity gets crushed. And we think, well, we wish we could work with better clients, better teams, better, if only the grass is greener. So I want to throw that out there, that maybe those that work at the business end are kind of embracing perhaps a growth mindset, because they don't need to prove themselves more. They just want it. They're just hungry to get involved with the business more.